In today's episode, we have a special guest. It is Jesse Durham from the Durham Talent Channel. You know, one of the things I love most about Jesse, and you're going to love it too, is this kind of tagline that he uses in most of his videos. He talks about living and leaving a lasting legacy. I love that. If you are out there thinking about how in the world do I leave a lasting legacy, while, of course, making sure that I'm alive and well and happy and taking care of my family now, you're going to want to stay tuned and hear what Jesse's got to say. Not only we're going to put lots of his links in the show notes, so just in case you relate to him or want to know more about him, you can click those and find out. We're going to talk specifically about the book, Becoming Your Own Banker, and what Nelson got right that maybe it's taking us a little longer to get right, or things that we need to jump into and fix or continue to think about. So in this episode, we are going to highlight things Nelson did or got right that maybe you still need to consider. We're going to do that with Jesse Durham from the Durham Talent Channel. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned for that conversation. Jesse, man, I'm excited to jump into this topic. How are you feeling about it?
I'm very excited now that I know what it is.
Okay, this is all about what Nelson Nash, the introducer, is that a word, of the infinite banking concept, got right, that people still can't wrap their head around, almost 40 years later after writing the book, right?
So good, yep.
Riders. A rider refers to an additional provision or feature that can be added to a basic life insurance policy to provide extra benefits or coverage. These riders allow policyholders to customize their insurance coverage to better suit their specific needs and circumstances. Riders typically come at an additional cost, but they offer added flexibility and options beyond what the standard policy provides.
Right, so we're going to jump directly in and talk about some of the things that really stand out to us that we think, man, you've got to take a second look at this stuff. You've got to really have some introspection and figure out if this makes sense to you, if you can wrap your brain around it. Jesse, you want to start?
That's a good key word. Okay, so let's run with the introspection. One of the things that I think that folks who have, maybe you've already read the book, maybe you haven't seen more of our content, but when you do get into the book at whatever point and you go through it, a lot of times I've found that it's easy to miss when Nelson said in his life where brother dies, grandchild has cancer, his home is burglarized. He's just had this succession of big
terrible
life
things.
events, right? But all that culminated in him having some honest introspection on his habits, his cash flows, really seeing how money was both flowing to him and flowing from him. And one of the things was he found himself in a financial bind, owing a lot of money at a ridiculous interest rate of at 24%.
Yep.
And he had some honest introspection, he said. And it's just those two words, and it's easy to, okay. But we need to think about, what did that mean for him? What could it mean for us?
That's right. Yeah, I think that people miss honest introspection. They miss the idea of paying attention to where money goes and flows. They miss the idea of tracking. They miss the idea of, if you don't pay attention, there's a quote out there that says, like, what you track expands.
Yes.
Right? People miss that, and they think like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just Starbucks. It's just the $6. It's just the Amazon thing that I needed, $13. It's just Hulu and Netflix and Apple Plus and Peacock. You can't watch all of them at the same time. I don't know if you know. And they miss that, and then they go, I don't know where all the money went. I don't know why I don't have it. You're missing the honest introspection. And I think for me, it's developed over time and over the years. It used to be as simple as paying attention to where the money went. That's it. It then developed into more like, not only do I pay attention now, I'm strategically choosing where I want it to go. Not only am I strategically choosing, I'm realizing that where I spend money affects other areas of my life. Like, I used to kind of compartmentalize it. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, it doesn't affect over here. I started to realize, oh, it surely does. If I actually, and again, this is a simple example for all those who are paying attention at home, but I started to realize if I actually do have Netflix and Peacock and Hulu and whatever, Apple TV Plus, whatever they're coming out with now, I want to watch them. Therefore, my evenings are taken away from my family and spouse. I want to watch the show. I paid attention to what came out recently because I paid for the platforms, right? When I started to realize and have honest introspection about the way that I wanted my life to actually look, well, I actually want to spend time with my wife. I like her. She's fun. I want to spend time with my kids. I like them. If I really want to do that, do I want to do it around the TV, or do I want to go outside and ride a bike and stuff like that? Hold on a second. It all kind of ties together. I need to get rid of maybe some of these things. And these are just small examples, but I started to realize that honest introspection about me and who I wanted to be actually it helped me make decisions in that financial space, right? It's the same thing that Nelson talked about in the book, exactly like you said. When he had the honest introspection is when he realized that the solution was right in front of him. He just didn't realize it was there. So I think that's a great one to start with. Nelson got it right. People we're still struggling, myself included.
I can't help but think about that first line that you gave, which is so common, whether folks are making $30,000 a year, $300,000 a year. I could be sitting down with a business owner who's saying, I had a record year as far as the revenue, the gross cash flow came to us, 300,000 or whatever the number is, but I don't know where it went. I don't have it anymore. So it's really crucial. It's really key.
And again, that can happen on a small level or a big level, right? They're just bigger purchases when you're a business owner. Okay, so you bought a new fleet of trucks and you upgraded the things that you had in your, whatever your business is, right? You might be a chiropractor. You've upgraded the massage table and you upgraded the, what do you call them, adjusting table and the x-ray machine. And then you're going, I don't know where it went. It's the same deal. Yep. It's about tracking. And it's about having honest introspection. So I love that one. That's a good one to start.
Well, then I think it naturally leads us to one of the others, which is Nelson in the book, of course, had some good practices already. So he had been paying significant premiums into whole life insurance, and part of his big epiphany in discovering the infinite banking concept, of course, was that he had this controlled area where he had ownership, access to capital to be able to leverage it. So with those processes in place already, he'd already been paying premiums, that meant that he got to play in a different financial environment moving forward. So I'm saying that after honest introspection, once we have some good habits in place and we're monitoring things and we're tracking things and those things are expanding and growing and we've got some good processes in place like paying premiums where we have ownership and all these advantages, well, now we're operating in a different environment. So something that I think that people can miss from Nelson, from infinite banking, that we need to come back to is because he's using examples like forestry, airplanes, but nothing operates in a vacuum.
I still don't know what that means. That's a very tough. It's in the book. I've read the book a lot of times. Nothing operates in a vacuum. I'm like, I don't know what. Is it just mean nothing operates independently? Is that what it is? Everything's. I don't know what that means.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is there's the tendency for me to try to give my version at least of, which would still be very much a layman's version, but some kind of a technical response. But airplanes are in the air and there's wind and there's gravity. So there are these influences that an airplane operates in. We also, no matter how good our practices are, no matter how well we're tracking things, no matter what processes we've put into place, I know I'm putting money in a good place. Now we're operating in an environment. Well, conventionally, people operate in the environment of credit and cash.
That's
they're either operating in an environment where they're going to a bank asking for permission to fill out their paperwork and provide them with collateral to pay boatloads of interest in the bank's environment. Right? Or we are saving up cash, and then when we have the cash for what we want to spend, we liquidate it back down to zero. Neither of those environments are advantageous for us once we realize the power of the infinite banking concept.
So I understand that well. Nothing. If planes can't fly in a vacuum, still's got me. But I understand the environment.
That's why I went right to the money example. Credit and cash.
So what comes to my mind is like some of the most there's pop culture, popular cultural sayings right now, right? Things like money rules everything around me. Things like Nelson pointed out in his book, one of the human problems called the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. There's sayings out there like you have to have money to make money. And that's kind of, again, adjacent, but a little bit involved in what you're saying now. When you've got the capital, you can play in a different it's a completely different field, right? If you're playing baseball and everyone's playing over here in the minor leagues, if you've got capital, you can play in the majors just immediately because you've got the capital to do it. You can make different decisions. You've got different options in front of you. You've got different areas of opportunity. You've got different partnership available. You've got capital. It's amazing to me that point that people miss. People do not realize that the opportunities are all around you. It's your lack of capital that does not allow you to see the opportunities. That's all it is. The opportunities are everywhere, but you don't have any capital, so you don't see them.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's so very natural. So people earn money in two different ways. Everybody, you, I, everybody that's listening to us, you're out there already in your household pursuing your career or building your business. You're probably in a career or a business. That's probably what you're doing. That's one way to earn money is what we put our time, skills, and hands to. What breaks us out of average is putting money to work. And again, that's where environment just really, really matters. How are we running our household? How are we running our business? How are we running our investments? Are we playing by the bank's rules or the cash where we end up at zero? Or are we being the banker?
That's it. As I've gotten older, I mentioned this to, I feel like I end up saying this so often. I made a comment recently. I told somebody, I'm not sure I've ever had an original thought. The thoughts just come to me based on things that I've read or things that someone else said it, and I'm starting to realize it's true, But as I'm getting older, being a father has been helpful. Being a business owner has been helpful. The infinite banking concept has been helpful. I've started to realize that I value control so much more. The book talks about having control. I read that 10 years ago, the first time I ever read the book, and it didn't like I read it, it didn't hit home for me, like, oh yeah, I agree, that sort of thing. As I've gotten older, I value control so much. Life is crazy. Life is wild. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Maybe even you're a person who's got emotions. Sometimes they're up or sometimes they're down. Or you've got family members that sometimes are up, sometimes they're down. And so because of that, I want control. I just don't want to have to play the rules of someone else's game. I do not want to do that. You can make, again, like I just mentioned, you can just play in a different field, make different decisions as long as you've taken back control in the right environment, have capital. And I think that Nelson got that exactly right. And a lot of people still today are just struggling trying to fit that in because they're not in a spot to do it, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people that we help have started maybe the infinite banking concept. They're a year or 2 or 3 years in, and so they still haven't built a capital pool big enough to kind of realize that. The people who have built a capital pool big enough realize that. And a lot of times what I've discovered is that it's our business owners or people that have been entrepreneurs before who realize, oh, I need to actually capitalize and build a capital pool. Right? And once they do, they're like, I knew that if you had capital and resources and things like that, you played in a different field. I knew that already. And so I use now this new vehicle to just get it done as quickly as I can.
Yeah, I feel like those entrepreneurs and business folks, they're even out there trying to do, we have these clients. We know how they used to do things when they come to us, and we're helping them implement a private banking system because they're using their HELOCs or like they need access to the capital for their inventory or their taxes or whatever it is that they're managing, of course. But yeah, environment is just so key, and I think that's a big one worth revisiting. You want a third one?
I'm ready.
Okay. This one might be a little more technical than the others.
I'm ready.
Interest. Anything around interest. Interest is a key point of becoming your own banker because, okay, again, we've already talked about you can earn money by how you work. You can earn money by how money works. Well, capital, money, has a cost to it. So coming and going, we need to be looking at adding value to the pool of capital that we're creating for ourselves. So if we take a loan from a bank, the bank, of course, again, along with the paperwork and the collateral and all these other things that they're controlling, going back to your controlling point, we're going to pay them capital. And if we're operating from a cash position, I like paying cash for things. Awesome. There are some advantages there, but again, once the cash is spent, it no longer works for us, so it cannot earn us interest. So again, money coming and going, which is all that banking is. Banking's just the flow of money. We want to be able to control that and profit from that, so we have to talk about interest.
Yep. I love it. I tell people all the time, it's a pretty simple statement, and it applies to you if you're a single parent raising kids. It applies to you if you're a multi-million-dollar business owner, but the equation is pretty simple. income needs to be higher than expenses, right? That's kind of first. And then it's all about, again, you can't generally get rid of all your expenses. You can't do that. We live in 2026. Most people listening to this are in America or Canada. Like there's air conditioning. There's a power bill you're going to have to pay, right? So I get that. I'm not trying to say get rid of the power bill. I'm not trying to say
Always have recurring expenses.
Yeah, I'm saying income higher than expenses. The gap. Whatever that gap is for you, a few $100s, few $1,000s, tens of thousands of dollars. It's what you do with that money. And I think a lot of people forego this idea. They'll give up weeks and months at a time. Because they'll spend it. They'll go, yeah, I get it. I had an extra $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, but we really wanted the vacation to Hawaii, so we spent it. I really wanted the new car, so I spent it. And what you do not realize is you give up months and months, which turns into years and years of you had the excess, you had the means to go and put your money to work so your money could make more, and you decided to give it up. You decided to give it up. And so a lot of people, which is why another thing that we maybe would talk about, behavior, right? But it's why it's so important for people to realize, like, guys, whether it's a few $100s, a few $1,000s, or more than that, it's about what you do with it. There are things out there that you can do, that you can control, that will earn you interest, that you can put in the right environment in order to get your dollars creating more. Right? A lot of people opt into things that are just typical. I'll put it here and it will hold forever, and maybe I'll get it one day and it can drop and go up and down and left and right. I'm not talking about those things. Right? That does not create any cash flow. That doesn't give you control of things, right? Something bad happens a few months later and now you got penalties or taxes or
Certainly
whatever else.
Doesn't mitigate risk.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not talking about that. But I think a lot of people give up. They literally give it. I used to be one of them. That's why I'm saying it, Jesse. I used to be a person who would be like, yeah, I saved $1,000 this month. Perfect. I could have saved $2, but the extra $1,000, we're going to use it. We're going to the movies. We're going out to eat. We're going wherever. I'll put it here. I'll spend money on this. I'll buy a new thing. And I used to give it up. Gone. Right? And then you turn around, like you mentioned earlier, and you're like, where'd it go? You've got nothing to show for it.
Well, I think that's where your behavior aligns was with our first point of that honest introspection. Just being willing to honestly introspect where our behaviors are leading us and landing us. And then when it comes to when you implement infinite banking, the nice thing, of course, is that if you should and want and need to take the vacation or buy the thing or all those other things that you mentioned, the beauty of being your own banker is that you get to do both. You get to give some cost to your capital. You get to put your capital somewhere where it's going to grow and you have control and leverage and all these beautiful aspects. And you can take the vacation still. You can still go out and buy the thing that you need or decide that you want to buy. I'm not even saying don't do this, do this. But I am saying the time that's associated with the money that you spend is also gone. I think that's the silent detractor. Is the time of life is also gone that was represented in that capital. I want my capital to grow for me forever and still be able to do the things that we were going to do anyway. Being your own banker, you get to do both.
I love it. I'm going to leave everybody who's listening with one last thing. First and foremost, if you have not read this book, you should. This book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. It was written by R. Nelson Nash. The subtitle here is Unlocking the Infinite Banking Concept. There is a link in our show notes to purchase this book. It's about $20 off Amazon, right? It's like $21.15 or whatever. I don't know why it's not $19.99. Don't ask me. It's not my book. But if you have not read this book, you should go get it. But here's one thing that Nelson talks about that I think a lot of people are getting wrong, but people are trending the right direction. They're starting to get it right. Nelson talks about why cash flow matters way more than accumulation.
I got you.
And I think people right now, 2026, are shifting to that idea. I think it's because of outside influences, the environment that we live in currently, inflation, the prices, things are just crazy expensive right now. And people are starting to realize cash flow matters so much more than accumulation. Right? That's what we teach here on this channel. Cash flow, how to get it guaranteed, what to do with it once you have it, the things that you should be thinking about, changing your behaviors, have some honest introspection in order to take your finances from zero to hero, right?
I love it.
So Jesse, I appreciate you being here on today's episode, and we'll have to do it again, man.
Let's do it.
All right, it's time for today's Top 5. And today we're talking about something almost nobody does, but probably should. These are the top 5 things in your house you should actually read the manual for. Because let's be honest, most of us buy something, throw the manual in the drawer, and then just hope for the best. But here are a few things where spending 10 minutes reading the instructions, saving those instructions to your computer or ChatGPT or whatever could save you thousands, save you major headaches or even safety issues later on. So coming in at number 5 is your dishwasher. Honestly, most people are using their dishwasher wrong. Seriously, a lot of modern dishwashers are designed differently than the older stuff, and using the wrong detergent or overloading it or skipping maintenance can shorten the life of the machine dramatically. Something as simple as learning how to clean the filter can improve performance immediately. Number 4 is your thermostat, especially if you've got a smart thermostat. Most people use maybe 10% of what these things can actually do. Scheduling temperature changes properly can save real money on utilities over time, and some systems can even track energy efficiency and usage trends. Coming in at number 3 is your washing machine and your dryer. This one matters because people accidentally destroy clothes all the time by using the wrong settings or overloading the machines. Plus, things like cleaning the dryer vent or understanding maintenance cycles help prevent breakdowns, reduce fire risk, all sorts of stuff. Number 2 is your HVAC. This is one of the most expensive systems in your entire house, and most homeowners know nothing about it. Understand your filter schedules, your airflow recommendations, your maintenance alerts, and basic troubleshooting can extend the life of the systems and save you thousands. And finally, coming in at number 1 is actually your hot water heater. Nobody thinks about the hot water heater until there's no hot water. So reading that manual can teach you how to adjust temperature settings, drain sediment buildup, recognize warning signs, and improve efficiency. And considering how expensive replacements are now, a little maintenance knowledge goes a long way. And honestly, there's a much bigger lesson hidden in this list. Most expensive problems in life happen because people ignore the systems they depend on every day. This applies to your house, your health, definitely your money. The people who understand their systems and how they work spend less money fixing preventable problems later. So that's today's top 5. And maybe tonight, go open that junk drawer full of those manuals. There's probably a few things in there that are worth learning.
If you like this episode, you are going to love the next one. In fact, Jeremiah is actually going to sit down with Sean King. Now, Sean recently wrote a book. The title of this book is called From Regular to Rich, so you're going to love it. And Sean's going to walk us through kind of his process, why he wrote it, who he wrote it for, what he highlights in the book. One of the things that I love most about his book is it's very practical. So he'll talk about specifically what he's doing now, not in theory, but like in practice. These are the credit cards that I use in order to get points and why I use them and what it provides for my family. We like to travel. His family does too. He talks about here are the websites we used in order to do that. And he talks about how he went from kind of a broken mindset into this more rich mindset, not only in mind, but in 5 areas, one of them including finance. So if you like this episode, you're going to love the next one. Stay tuned for Jeremiah and Sean talking about the book From Regular to Rich.
Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.